Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Amanda. And this is Shreya Uman. She is the postdoctoral research fellow at the Bridges Hub, working with me. We're really excited to be here today. And as Amanda mentioned, we are attached to the Carbon Hub in the sense that we've been working at GFL and with Lightworks for now over a decade. And we wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how we're connected to community benefits planning and environmental justice activism through and with the Carbon Hub. So Shreya and I are going to be taking turns reading this talk, and so we're going to go back and forth with each other. So for over 2 decades, Shreya, you can go to the first slide. Yes. For over 2 decades at conferences, including the 2012 Rio Plus 20 Sustainability Conference, there have been clarion calls to increase the integration and application of robust social and human science knowledge, expertise, methods, and action into convergent efforts to address the most pressing social and ecological challenges as we build an intentional future we want. In 2014, ASU answered these calls by founding and leading the Humanities for the Environment Global Network. And this is a network of over 39 leading environmental humanities universities around the world. Humanities for the Environment has been integrating the human sciences, including humanities fields such as history, literature, and philosophy, and social science fields such as political science and anthropology into sustainability research and community practice as it has honed its expertise on the role of the human behaviors, motivations, and desires, and how they play a role in how we're going to create an intentional future. ASU rests its reputation as a global intellectual leader in the humanities-led sustainability sciences on this ongoing networking effort.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. In 2021, Humanities for the Environment, or HFE, entered the international policy and global governance space by co-founding with its partner, UNESCO Most, the UNESCO Bridges Sustainability Coalition, which coordinates a consortium of 40+ leading environmental science organizations and institutions, including Future Earth worldwide. The flagship hub is located at ASU and collaborates globally with 4 sister hubs in the UK, Africa, the Club of Rome, and Princeton University. Its mission is to bridge the human sciences and natural and sustainability sciences. As the flagship hub of the UNESCO Bridges Coalition, the ASU's Global Futures Laboratory is providing global intellectual leadership in humanities-led sustainability science. As Vice President and Vice Provost of Global Futures, Peter Schlosser has said, I quote, "We cannot shape a thriving future without involving all perspectives, and the humanities contribute a crucial part of the overall picture," unquote. On the global stage, HFE and Bridges seek to map the uncertain routes that human communities at all scales must traverse in the coming decades as we explore how we will meet the UN Sustainable Development Goals for a thriving future. But in the final minutes of this presentation, we want to turn our focus towards what HFE and Bridges are doing at ASU to contribute to SDG 7 and 13, ensuring access to clean and affordable energy for all, and climate action, what we are doing to move the dial and climate change.
So collectively, many of ASU's humanists have been working for over 25 years with diverse environmental justice communities. And I'm so excited to hear our next talk, the one that will come after ours, because we think that we're very connected. They have been working with the EPA, advocating for increased access to adequate health services, including specialized care for communities affected by significant releases of hazardous substances from federal facilities, and working with indigenous tribes across ASU and even across Arizona and into Mexico. As we face ever-warming climates and extreme weather, there is recognition at ASU and throughout our networks of HFE and Bridges that we need to bring the expertise of climate justice and people who work with environmental justice communities together with pioneer scientists, such as those that we've heard from at this conference, Klaus Lachter, Stephanie Arcusa, and Gary Dirks. So as a first collective effort, after a recent sandbox activity funded by Lightworks and Gary Dirks, in anticipation of the ways that we might work with the Carbon Hub, we launched an effort to create a human sciences-led community benefits planning testbed, and we would work to design and scale better community benefits practices nationwide and globally. So we're excited to see how we might tap into some of these Justice 40 funds. As you can see from this slide, the testbed will be led by humanistic, scientific, and technical experts from across ASU, and we'll have a little bit more to say about the testbed as we go forward in this presentation. Oh, sorry, it's still my turn. We are also engaged in classroom experiments to inspire new generations of students who will be tomorrow's leaders. So in the fall of 2023, the UNESCO Bridges flagship hub developed a lab course for undergraduate students interested in finding solutions that will help us meet the targets of the Paris Agreement on climate change and the wider ambitions of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Titled Energy, Justice, and Action, this interdisciplinary lab was co-taught by two humanists with expertise in literary studies, myself and Shreya and Aman, and Gary Dirks, who you just heard from in the previous presentation.
In order to introduce our students to the concepts of carbon offsets, a new carbon economy, carbon pricing, and carbon credits, we asked students to delve into Kim Stanley Robinson's novel, The Ministry for the Future. Robinson's near-future science fiction has influenced real-world carbon policy discussions and thus illustrates the considerable power of storytelling and the humanities to educate the public on carbon solutions. The novel inspired students to research the following questions, among others. What does energy justice mean for communities losing coal-fired stations and facing job losses? How do the humanities help generate more humane and sustainable futures for communities?
So we realized that students really hadn't been introduced to these issues, and so we were really excited by the way that reading the novels helped them really dive into those issues. But also, throughout the semester, we brought in local environmental justice community leaders, economic and technological experts, including Stephanie Arcusa, who you heard from Klaus and Stephanie this morning, who introduced students to net zero goals, coal transition, and carbon removal issues. And we also brought in Manny Modile Cora, who you heard from yesterday when he talked about his startup, who explained the role of sorbents in carbon capture to the students. These experts and many others advise students on solution-oriented group projects that we ask them to co-design as their culminating course assignment. Some of the projects the students innovated included an elementary school community garden to teach kids about healthy carbon in the soil, short documentary film on carbon sequestration and cattle ranching, and a podcast on the carbon collect mechanical tree, because we wanted students to learn about the research we're doing at ASU as well.
Another outcome of the Energy, Justice, and Action Humanities Lab is a proposal to strengthen ASU's transdisciplinary collaborations among its energy-focused centers and networks. As mentioned earlier, a two-day sandbox working event we developed at an idea for a humanities and social science-led community benefits planning testbed. The vision for a CBP testbed will be to leverage ASU's expertise in CBP and broader humanities and social science research. Our aim will be to pioneer effective community-driven approaches for CDR technologies. To realize the potential of this idea, Humanities for the Environment has created the Forum for Just Energy Transition, or Forum for JET. This ASU Humanities Inclusive Network will leverage ASU's expertise in community engagement with environmental justice communities, planning for diversity, equity, inclusion, and access, workforce development, and community impacts analysis. Forum for JET's aspirations include improving communication between institutions, facilities, regulators, and environmental justice communities by facilitating meaningful participation of community residents in decision-making process. Forum for JET aims to build capacity for unbiased job opportunities, promoting gender, race, and societal equality, and increase federal funding likelihood from sponsors like NSF and DOE. As a first project, the CBP testbed at ASU will be led by experts in community engagement, DEIA, workforce development, and community impacts analysis. It will collaborate with CDR companies, cities, advocacy groups, and labor organizations to develop scalable community benefit services. Leveraging ASU's expertise in CBPs and broader humanities and social science research, it aims to pioneer effective community-driven approaches for CDR technologies.
So, in conclusion, work in the human sciences or humanities and social sciences at ASU is focusing on successful human sciences inclusive research and communication, drawing on multiple media to reach a plurality of distinct publics, including students who are the next generation and who need to be more engaged fully in climate and climate drawdown awareness and climate action, while also facilitating opportunities to learn from the considerable store of knowledge that non-academic practitioners and including local knowledge holders can teach. So as illustrated by the examples that we discussed today, the UNESCO Bridges Climate Justice and Action Lab, the emergence of Forum for JET, and the testbed proposal, humanists at ASU are successfully working with experts in carbon and carbon drawdown to identify priorities among both communities and CDR companies and startups. We also look forward to conducting new research to inform and improve CBP testbed service offerings. Thank you.